and family. We'll also cover, what we can do. So we'll share with you some of our success stories, individuals who have participated in events with us before and then decided to participate in working with us either through our coaching program or courses that we do, and showing, how you can be successful through that. And then, of course, we always want to make sure that we thank you all for joining us, not just by saying it in words, but we definitely have some prize giveaways that we'll be doing at the end. So pay close attention so that you could potentially be one of the winners of those prizes tonight. So Kemba, let's get started. Okay.
Okay.
People with challenges already.
Oh no. Well, let's just share a little bit about who we are. So we're a Keen group. Andrea and I are sisters-in-law, if you, our husbands are brothers, and we had a shared dream of, building a real estate empire. And so we've come together to form Keen. And in the process, we feel that educating folks in our community and just education in general is going to help build a stronger community. We're in the process of doing that. It's been a fun and interesting journey. We're women, we want to empower other women to do the same. And just building that confidence and that knowledge through courses and support systems. That's what we do here at Keen. I'm trying to let people in while we chat. So, Andrea, why don't you share?
Yes. So we definitely know that with real estate, because there's a lot of different moving parts. There's a lot of information that you may not have learned in school or even learned through the institutions that you are a part of, like your bank. And so we feel that through our own personal experience, we have gained enough experience and knowledge that we can impart that on you. And so we've built through Keen, through our own portfolio holdings that we've acquired over time, we've put together the ability to teach you through either courses, through coaching, and our podcast that we do. We help provide you with the knowledge and information that you need to make really good, sound decisions in real estate so that you can be successful, because there's definitely quite a bit of risks involved in investing, and no differently in real estate. We also come with a lot of experience tenanting properties, managing properties, and so we bring that to you as well. We've worked with properties that will have as simple as a short-term rental that can bring you fantastic income to what we mostly know long-term traditional holds, like a tenant year by year, month by month. And so we can teach you how to establish and be successful in holding rentals. We also provide consulting, and we work with a variety of affiliates and partners who too are experts that bring strength and knowledge to our business system and to you as well. So if you need knowledge, you want to know more, you're in the right place.
And our guest today, Stacy Brown. Stacy, can I hear hello?
I see Stacy. I don't see her cameras on as yet, but oh, there she is.
Yes, I didn't want to disturb you so I just keep my camera off. So,
yeah,
hi okay. Everybody.
So welcome, Stacy. We're really happy to have you. Stacy is a great friend of ours. She is an educator. She is a mom. She is awesome. And she's done a lot in terms of building wealth for others through her brokerage and through the education she provides to our youth. So welcome, Stacy. I'm going to let you go into your bio and talk a little bit about yourself. I'm not going to cover that, but we're so happy to have you.
So we can allow, Stacy, you can share your screen so that you can do your presentation.
Okay, so is the presentation here or? Oh,
sorry. So what you shared and sent to me was all sideways. And so what I thought, when you were asking if you could share your screen, I was absolutely saying, yes, you can. And so at the bottom of the screen.
Okay, no problem. I can share mine.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
share yours. Yeah, I tried to get it to so that I could get it to turn the right way, but I don't know how, and I'm not that sophisticated with.
That's okay.
With,
No worries. No worries at all. So let me share my screen 1 second. All righty. Can everybody see my screen now?
Not as yet. There, now we can.
Can you see it now?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining today. Thank you, Andrea and Kimba, for having me on this fantastic webinar. This is a lot of great information sharing, so I'm super excited for it. And so as Andrea and Kimba has mentioned, my name is Stacey Brown, and I am a mortgage broker. So I'll give you a little bit about myself. Let me just see if this is going to, sorry, because there we go. All right, so here's a little bit about me. I can read out my bio, I guess. I'm Stacey Brown. I've worked for some of the top lending and banking institutions in Canada. I've having held positions as a national business development manager and managed over 3,000 mortgage brokers nationally. So I like to say I've traveled a lot of Canada. I've gone from coast to coast. What I would like to say about Canada, it kind of just goes from cold to colder to coldest. That's my general outtake of Canada. Through that, I've also been a regional account manager at another institution, and then a regional vice president at my last corporate job. I do hold a private capital license, which is fantastic. And I have been a mortgage broker for over a decade now. So been in the field for over 20 years. So yeah, I guess that's a long time. But my passion also is teaching financial literacy, whether I'm teaching it to adults or I specialize in teaching to kids through a program that I have called Kiddonomics. That I share with my now 11-year-old daughter that we run every Friday. So that's been super exciting. So that's just a little bit about me. Now you guys know. I guess fun fact, I just had another baby. So he's about 7 months old. Maybe not just.
What? Congratulations. We know that's fast, 7 months. Wow.
Maybe not just.
I feel like just the other day, wasn't it like,
I know, it feels like that.
Like it was just around Christmas, but it is actually, that was her. Yeah, wow.
Yeah. So yeah, fun times in my household. Not a lot of sleep, but hey. All right. So let's talk about it. I know we're going to be talking specifically, sorry, Andrea, I jump in now to my presentation, right? Or
yes, you're into your presentation right now.
Awesome, fantastic. All right, so let's talk about it. So what does equity mean in a property, and how do you access it, right? Like that's the number one question. I remember one time a client came to me and was like, how do I get the money out of my house without selling it? And I just want the cash now. And I'm just like, well, your house is not an ATM. So we need to finance it. And the person's like, what? And I'm like, yes, it is not an ATM. So let's figure out how we can do that. But first of all, let's talk about, does everybody understand what I mean by equity? What does equity really mean? I'm just going to move this a little bit down.
Yeah, and feel free as we go to type in the chat any questions that you may have, and we can always alert Stacey to them.
Fantastic. Yes, if you can monitor the chat for me and let me know if there's any questions, that would be phenomenal. All right. So in finance, equity is ownership of assets that may have debts or other liabilities attached to them. So really, equity is measured by accounting, I guess, by purposes of subtracting liabilities from the value of the asset. So I gave you an example here. So if your property value is 200,000, which of course, now if you're in the GTA, that is like nowhere close to where
that's a garage space.
That's not even a garage space. That maybe that's like the frame of the garage space, or maybe just like the foundation to build the garage. But let's just say it was a long time ago and the property value was at 200,000 and your mortgage is at 100,000. That means the equity that you have in your home that belongs to you is $100,000. That is your equity. So between the value of their property and what your mortgage is, that is considered the equity that you own in your home. Does anybody have any questions there? No? Okay. And if anybody has any questions as I go along, or any questions that does pop into the chat, please let me know. Like I always tell all of my clients, no question is stupid. So just go ahead and ask it, because if you don't know, you just don't know, right? Right.
Okay, so I'm not sure, Joanne, what you mean, but she's saying any debts you have?
Any outside debt. So if you're talking about outside debts, meaning like your credit card, car loans, all of those things do not get included into your property. Okay, because they're not secured.
I think you're thinking maybe net worth. We would factor in those debts and minus, but for equity, no, it's not factored in.
So equity in your property, that's what we're specifically talking about today. The equity in your property is what your mortgage is, or if you have a HELOC, which we will be talking about, and you owe any money on that HELOC. So anything, any loan obligation that you have registered against your house, that minus the from the value of the property is the equity that you have in your property. Not so anything else outside of your property, like your car loans, student loans, credit cards, an unsecured personal line of credit, none of those are not considered part of your property, okay? Because it's not secured against your property, okay? Joanne, just let me know if that helps to answer your question in the chat.
You can just give a thumbs up or yes in the chat. Thanks.
Yeah. Awesome. Fantastic. The mortgage was 120. Would the equity of the property be 80? Yes, it would be. That's right, Kelly. That's exactly right. So if the mortgage is 120, your value and the value of the property was 200,000, your equity would be $80,000. Okay. Now, just because it's $80,000 does not mean that you'll be able to access all of that $80,000. So we're going to talk about that. All right. So let's talk. And of course, as I said, as we go along, if you have any questions, please let me know in the chat. All right. Next page. All right, so what does refinancing mean? Because that has been like a hot topic right now, right? I'm sure you've seen it in the news because rates have been increasing. People are talking about their renewals and refinancing their property. What does that mean? So what does that mean? So refinancing is taking cash out or refinancing that pays off your existing mortgage in exchange for a new mortgage on the property. So that means that if your mortgage was $100,000, right? Let's go back to that original example. So if your mortgage was $100,000 and you wanted to take out some equity out of the property, you are going to now replace that with a new mortgage for, let's just say, $140,000. So you were able to take out $40,000 out of your home. And your new mortgage would be $140,000, paying off the existing mortgage, which was $100,000. Was that clear? Let me know in the chat. And of course, you can always circle back. But what's the pros? So what is the pros of refinancing? Why do you want to do this? Because there are pros for refinancing. So it allows you to access a large chunk of money without selling your home. Because in order to take out the money that is in your property, somebody has to lend you the money, right? Because remember I said that your property is on an ATM, right? There's nowhere you can go and put your card in and take out that money. So somebody has to lend you that money, which is typically an institution or lender or some type of lending establishment that is going to loan you that money, okay? So that's great. without you having to sell your property, because that is the only other way to get all of that money out of your property, right? You would have to sell your house. But then what does it give you? It gives you the money to pay off other debt obligations, such as what we talked about that was outside of your mortgage, which was your credit card payments, your car loans, your lines, other lines, unsecured lines of credits, maybe your student loans, all of those things, because typically the interest rate that you're going to get on your mortgage is a lot lower than what you would see on your, your credit card. I mean, if some of you have looked at how much your interest rate is on your credit cards, I mean, you're looking at 19.9% into the 20s, right? That is a lot higher than what you're going to get on your mortgage because it is secured against the real asset. So now, prior to rates rising, typically your current mortgage payment would probably lower, not in this current rate environment, but I would say prior to January of this year or February of this year, your mortgage payments would typically be lower because we were in a declining rate environment. But your overall debt payments would be lower. So if you are refinancing, we would be looking at paying out all of your debt. And then what that means is those debt obligations that you used to be paying, you pay like $200 to your line of credit and $300 to your car loan and $400 to your credit cards. Well, you're not now making any of those payments. So all of that money, now you're only making one payment, that is your mortgage payment. So that helps you save a lot of money that would then be able to use that money to, let's just say, buy a new property, which is what Miss Andrea and Kimba is going to be talking to you about today, right? So you're going to be saving a lot of that money. You can either dump it back into the mortgage or you can look at doing other things with the funds, right? But there are some cons. There's pros and cons to everything. What you do have to realize is to get a new mortgage, that means that you have to re-qualify for that new mortgage, okay? So it doesn't automatically mean because you got the mortgage the first time, you are now in the same position to qualify to get a new mortgage, especially at a higher amount. It all depends on each individual circumstances. Penalties do apply. So it depends on the type of mortgage that you currently have. You may be looking at a penalty. If the mortgage is coming up for renewal, then we wouldn't be looking at a penalty. But typically, if you are in the midst of your term, then you would be looking at a penalty. And the penalty varies depending on the type of mortgage that you do have. Then there are closing costs. And you are not guaranteed to get a lower rate because we are now in an inclining rate environment. Is there any questions so far on refis?
So one person's asked, wouldn't another con just be the fact that you've now extended the mortgage for a longer period of time?
Yeah.
So you don't have to extend the amortization period. So you can keep your same amortization period, or you can
Oh my
extend
God, yes.
your amortization period. Okay,
Someone's not muted.
so does that make sense? So that is a yes and no question. It depends on the client. So if you want to now re-extend your amortization period, yes, it will take you longer to pay it off, but you can keep your same amortization period. So it doesn't take you longer to pay off.
What the difference, so, Stacy, is that you'd get what changes then if you keep it the same, or what changes if you extend it?
So if you extend it, it may lower your mortgage payment. So if you're looking to manage your mortgage payment, so because we are looking at your budget and says, okay, listen, this is what I'm looking to pay every month, and this is what is doable for my family. And you need to extend it so that you keep your payments lower, then you would be looking at extending it. If you are okay with the mortgage payments at the higher mortgage amount, what that is, and now because you're not paying off any of the other debt obligations that you may have had because we're refinancing to pay everything off, right? Then you can keep the same amortization period.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? It all depends. That's why I say, listen, financing is all personalized. It depends. Each individual situation is different. So when you get clients and they tell you, oh, my neighbor got this, or my mom and dad got this, and my best friend got this, it doesn't mean because that was the solution for them that this is the perfect solution for you. Every situation is different. And every time you go into a financing situation, your life situation may be different. So keep that in mind too, okay? From person to person, your situation will be different. And when you look at financing, different points and times in your life, your financing situation will change, right? So you have to go with the best financing solution for you at that time. And that's what I tell every client. And then also the last con is, or not the last one, but one of the other things is to remember that when you do refi, it does reduce the equity in your home. Because now we've gone from $100,000 using the previous example, we've gone to a mortgage of $140,000. So now the equity remaining in your home is $60,000, not $100,000. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I will go. I'll go more quickly, right, Andrea? Because how much time do I have?
Well, I was just saying maybe 5 more minutes, but I think you're almost there, right, Stacey? So maybe about 5 to 10 more, because I'd like to give people a chance to ask a couple more questions.
Sure, absolutely.
Awesome. Oh, I see another question anyway. So maybe
a few questions.
Okay. Do you want to ask them now or go? Or
yeah. So someone asked, can you explain if I'm able to maintain my interest rate if I refinance?
Can you maintain the exact same interest rate that you currently have if you refinance? Well, if the lender is still currently offering that interest rate, then yes, but typically interest rates change and they are subject to change without notice. So we are now in an inclining rate environment. So I would say in this environment, you would most likely not get the same interest rate because rates have changed. Now, always remember, when you have to look at the point in time that you are looking to do your financing and what rates are being offered at that time. And those are the rates that you're subject to at that time.
Yeah. If you're trying to wait for a rate or something like that, the idea would be to be in an open mortgage. So
please let me, I know I can't stay for the 1 full hour.
Sorry about that. So Stacey, there's another question. Does refinancing affect your credit rating?
Does refinancing affect your? Well, typically it would help boost it, actually, because what happens is when you refi, if you are paying out all of your existing outside debt, and now you only have one payment, which is your mortgage, it actually really helps to boost your credit score because you don't have any of the other outside debts going on, which is awesome. So that is actually one of the positives to refinancing.
okay.
So Wise Woman asked, I refinanced my place before the value of the homes in my area went up. If I'm looking to move into another place, I know the value of the homes in my area went up about 300K more than what I valued, my house was valued at during refinancing. How do I get that equity out that I undervalued?
Well, it's not necessarily that it was undervalued. It was valued at what the property was valued at that time, right? So each month in Toronto, the value of a property typically has gone up. However, we are in a changing transitional time right now where property values are changing, and some may be on the decline, some may still be on the incline. However, your value of your property is appraised at whatever it is for that time. So if you are looking to refinance again, because that's what you would be doing to access the other, if it's 300,000, right? You would have to refinance your property again to be able to access more money out of your property. Because like I said, right, it's not an ATM. So you have to get a lender to loan you that money, or you sell the property.
And I think the last question before we move on is, how soon can you refinance a new pre-con?
A new pre-construction?
Yes.
Typically, I'd say wait 6 months once you take possession and ownership of the condo. okay, of the condo or of the house. I would say wait about 6 months. Because at least then it kind of stabilizes within the first 12 months. It will stabilize to see, has anybody sold any properties in the new development to establish a good property value. So I would say 6 to 12 months, but you know, that's what I would typically say.
Okay,
Okay.
that's not that long, so that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so Stacey, you can go on.
All right, awesome. So the next thing that we're going to discuss, so the first one we discussed was a refinance. So a refinance is you taking out a lump sum of money at one time, okay? And then you start paying on that lump sum of money. Once the mortgage closes, you start paying right away back that lump sum in regular mortgage payments, okay? So you get that cash out, and you can do whatever you want with that cash, whether or not that's debt financing, or you're going to, of course, look at buying another property, okay? You're gonna get that cash out. That's what refis do. The other way to finance a property is to put a home equity line of credit on your property, which we call a HELOC. So HELOC is just the acronym for a home equity line of credit, okay? So a HELOC is a home equity line of credit is a secured form of credit. The lender uses your home as a guarantee that you'll pay back the money you borrow. Home equity lines of credit are revolving credit. You borrow the money, pay it back, borrow it again, pay it back to a maximum of whatever the credit limit is. So it is similar to a personal line of credit, right? So the unsecured lines of credit, so people may be very familiar with that type of lending. A home equity line of credit is similar in that fact that, but the difference is instead of it being unsecured, it is secured against the value of your property. So it's secured against your property. It is registered as a charge against your property. So what's the pros of getting a home equity line of credit, right? Because there are pros to them. The first thing is that it's flexible. I love home equity lines of credits. And why? Because you get to use it whenever you choose to use it. So you have, the money is sitting there, whether or not it's $100,000, $200,000, you know, $80,000, whatever it is, that money is sitting there. And so you see a great new hot property has come onto the market, you're able to move on it when you need to. And that's the flexibility of it. And then typically what you're looking at is a lower interest rate since it is secured against your property. So lenders don't consider it as risky because they have an asset, which is your home, right? The biggest asset typically that Canadians have. So because I have the asset, it's great. You typically get a lower interest rate, and then you get a flexible ability to use that credit line, and you also maintain interest-only payments. So the payment is not principal and interest like a mortgage payment. If you refied it, it is interest-only payments on a line of credit. But what does that mean when it's interest-only payments? That means you're only paying the interest and you're not paying anything against the principal. So it is up to you. And that's why a lot of times the HELOCs come with a higher credit score requirement to be able to get a HELOC. There's a little bit more qualifications because it is up to the client to make sure that they're also paying off the principal and the interest. You only have to pay typically the interest payments. Okay. Does anybody have any questions there on the pros? Let me know in the chat, of course. And then, any questions there, Kimba?
How much are the interest rates on these days? Everybody's hot on the interest rates.
Yeah, so it honestly, it all depends. It all depends on, I'd say it all depends on your credit score, how much you qualify for. So every bank is different. I'm not going to quote interest rates because interest rates are subject to change at any point in time, and it depends on each client. So
we just know they're higher than they were earlier this year.
Yeah. And guys, you know, if you want to have a chat with Stacey about your situation and just find out maybe what you qualify for, you can definitely do that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I know that clients always think that, you know, interest rates is the number one thing. It's the the thing that you have to, it's the most important thing. And it is important, but sometimes it's not the most important thing. And what I always preach about is just finding the best financing solution for where you are currently. And that's what we take a look at. Okay, because sometimes clients are like, I want the best rate, I want the lowest rate out there. But if I told you the lowest rate comes with a lot of stipulations and you can't get out of this mortgage until you sell your house, and you are very limited, but it's the lowest rate, right? So we have to look at what is the best financing solution for you at the time. Okay.
See, we'll give you 2 more minutes. So if you could help us with maybe wrapping up.
Yep, no problem. So we'll go through some of the cons. One of the cons is that you do have to go through the qualification process. You do have limited buying power because you have to be able to qualify for a certain amount of loan to value in your property. So, I may say you can get your HELOC is $200,000, but not everybody will qualify for $200,000. It all depends on how much equity you have in your home. Okay. And then, of course, if you choose to default on your payments, on your home equity line of credit payments, that means you are putting at risk your home, right? Versus if you, default on a personal line of credit, you're not putting at risk your home. Okay, so that's the other thing that you are taking a look at. And last financing, here we go. I just want to quickly touch on, because this is a solution, and I'll bet it's not a solution for everybody, and it all depends on the situation. But there are access to private mortgages. So sometimes when a refinance does not work, a typical mortgage or home equity does not work because you don't have enough equity in the house to get a HELOC on the property, and you can't break your current mortgage, and you don't really qualify. There are other lending solutions, and this is what we're talking about today, is finding the right lending solution for you to help build that real estate empire. The other thing is doing a private mortgage. So what is a private mortgage? A private mortgage is a loan you can get from a third-party lender. Private mortgages are given to borrowers who may have bruised credit, low income, no income, or hard to prove income. These borrowers appear to be more risky in investments, which results in lenders asking for higher interest rates. Private mortgages typically have additional fees, but despite these costs, many people benefit greatly from private mortgages, because a lot of times, if you don't qualify, or it's something that we need in a clutch, you can access the private mortgage realm. I won't go into the pros and cons because I know we are short on time. So if anybody has any questions on private mortgages, hopefully you guys took a snapshot of this, but I can definitely talk to you more about it. But what I do like to say is this, because Mark Zuckerberg said it, but I just like this quote. The biggest risk is not taking any risk. In a world that's changing really quickly, the only strategy that is guaranteed to fail is not taking risks. And really, when you just stand still, you're losing out on a lot. So the fact that you're even here on this type of webinar is amazing, because you are trying to find the valuable information that you need to figure out, to make educated decisions and choices that will hopefully positively affect your wealth as you go forward. So that's it from me. Thank you so much. Of course, this is my email address. If you do want to contact me, and my phone number, please feel free to give me a call.
For sure. Thank you, Stacey.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you very much, Stacey. It's so awesome for us to share that type of information. And I don't know that we all here tonight know how valuable it is, if you do own a home, how valuable that equity can be to building wealth. But you did a great job sharing the different ways that they can access it, and different ways that they can get funding or financing too. So Emma, let's move on and see.
I was waiting for Stacey to move to the next slide, and I realized it's not you, Stacey, it's me.
Yeah.
I'll stop sharing, and then you can go on to your slide. There you go.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, so we've used a lot of the strategies that Stacy mentioned here tonight to build a portfolio of our own, including multifamily units, duplexes, triplexes, condos, because that's how you build wealth. You start small, whether it's one, your primary residence, you get that home equity line of credit, which is great. Really, the flexibility in that cannot be understated. Or overstated. And you use that to buy the next, and then you sort of capitalize on each one as you go, and you make sure that they make sense from a numbers perspective, and that's what helps you to grow and build a very good portfolio and to build that wealth that we talk about. So that's how we do it, and we have other people like Raj and his sons.
Thank you.
Yeah, so this is, as you can see, during COVID, we're wearing masks, and we weren't totally social distancing, but at least we were practicing some of what we needed to do. That family we've been working with for years. We started with the parents who first used the equity in their home, similar to the strategy that Stacy spoke of, financing, home equity line of credit. They were able to pull the equity by their first of their, not their principal, but by their first rental through that strategy. And then now today in that video, you saw them passing on that wealth, that equity, to help their sons invest together. And their sons each own their own properties already, but together they were helping the sons buy a investment property together. And so you cannot understate the equity in your property. You definitely want to find ways to utilize it first for yourself, to build wealth and possibly, generate income for retirement, legacy, or you can help your children, use it, because especially when we talked about, and I know we chuckled and laughed, but 100,000 in the GTA, it's not, there's nothing that you can buy for 100 or 200,000. We're talking more closer to, $750,000 and greater. So that's one thing that you can do. And we've been helping our clients do, is helping them find ways to use their equity to build for themselves and children.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things we wanted to touch on, and we're already running short on time, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the issue, but, we wanted to address the elephant in the room because, everybody's talking about interest rates right now and the rising and the possible recession. So just think about the last 150 years. And I know this is an American stat that we're using because it's harder to find Canadian stats in this way, this particular graphic, but over time, over the last 150 years, there have been recessions, multiple recessions, a big crash in 1929, the Great Depression. There are times when the value of property is dropping, interest rates, the world is upside down, there's wars, there's stuff going on, and that's the period of time we're in right now. The interest rates are rising, property values are dropping. But as you notice, everything goes down, but it comes back up. And the dip is fairly temporary. In all these dips, you notice that there's a very peak of the drop where it goes down to the bottom of where it's going to go. And then it starts climbing back up. But over time, and the lifespan of a mortgage, that value is going up and up and up. It doesn't stay. And we never go back to periods well past that. We have periods of very high growth, and then it may taper off a bit, but it's still growth going in an upward direction. So consider that when you're making your decisions. A lot of people with the conversation in the news right now are fearful to make decisions, but it's actually an opportune time for you to take advantage of the fact that the prices are dropping. And the interest rates will fluctuate, but you'll be able to manage that, and they potentially will drop. So think of yourself as making a decision in this time period, which will benefit you down the road.
And there are strategies to work around the interest rates, right? So that you don't have to lock in for 5 to 10 years. You can take maybe shorter terms or variable and different things. And Stacy is the expert on that. So she can absolutely help guide you based on your own personal situation. So tools for success. I mean, I think that graphic is an excellent example, Kemba, of how, that it continues to appreciate despite the sort of up and down that we can see that fluctuation. I think when you take equity, right, which is what we're talking about, when you're taking it from your home, Stacey did a great job talking about how you can use it to improve your credit by paying out debts. Well, our goal too is to help you understand that you can take that equity and improve your net worth, improve your wealth by investing it. And so you can put it into different assets. One of the things that you can do outside of real estate is you can invest it in a business if that's what you see as the most profitable and beneficial way for yourself and family. But you can take it, invest it, and get better returns by putting it into actual real estate, where you can have, pretty good, I would say it's fair to say that you can probably get double-digit returns in the environments that we've been operating in the last 10 years. But even if you use a conservative 5%, you invest in a $500,000 property, and in 10 years time, it grows substantially to 814. If it's doing what we've seen over the past 10 years, it could even be way greater than that. But you have passive investments. So some of you tonight have participated in passive investments, because we know that you've either worked with us to do some of the passive investments in projects and investment developments like Kemba and I have currently, or you might even have found some of your own through other projects where you're now able to take that 100,000 that you take from the equity in your home and put it to work, put it to earn 10%, 12%, right? Give you greater returns than you might get at the bank that you work with. Also, most of us, and I know myself and Kemba included, Kemba showed you our some of our portfolio holdings in a graphic a couple graphics ago. And what we did was we took what we were learning about using equity, and not just equity from our principal, but eventually equity from our rental properties to invest, so that now we're not just using maybe 100,000, but we can sometimes get multiples of that, 200, 300,000 of equity, and invest it into larger assets like multi-units, where you can get greater returns. And you can see the more you do, right, over a 10-year period, because you're not just thinking about today. If we just focus on today, maybe it doesn't look as great, but if you can look, over that 150 years, you can see that it's statistically, the numbers show that it goes up. Well, the same will happen over a 10-year period as well. So that if you bought last year when it was really high and you try to sell this year, you're not going to be in a great situation. But if you hold it for 10 years, absolutely, that asset that you bought at $1 million will now be in 10 years worth almost $2 million. $1.8 million. Fantastic. You've really just taken something that would have been sitting, not actually, it wouldn't be sitting. If it was in your equity in your home, it's likely the bank took it and invested it and turned it around and made great returns. But why not be the bank? You take your money and put it out there and either loan it out in the case of projects where you can get double-digit returns, or you put it into an active investment where you're buying like a 5-unit apartment building.
Mm-hmm.
And so Kevin's not here tonight. Kemba, you're Kevin.
Oh, I'm Kevin. Yes. Hi guys, I'm Kevin. No, he doesn't sound
His voice is just a little deeper. But
so Kevin is an awesome realtor that we have the pleasure of knowing out there in Alberta. He's actually in Edmonton, but he helps you in all over Edmonton and the surrounding areas. He's been a realtor for 5 years. He sold a lot of new construction. He sold us our properties out there.
mm-hmm.
He specializes in private listings and MLS. He does exclusively investment property and opportunities around the Edmonton area. So he is a guy you should know if you want to invest outside of the province and potentially in the Edmonton area. Edmonton is an excellent city, has been for many years in terms of its welcome to investors, and as well as its economic fundamentals are very strong, and Kevin is able to show you that. And he is also a really fun guy. Look at that smile. You know, he's a really easygoing guy and easy to work with. And so what he's done for us tonight is he shared some of the opportunities out there, and we can definitely connect him to you after, and sort of set up a meeting with him if you're interested in any of those opportunities, or just figuring out if Edmonton is an area for you.
And don't worry, you don't have to travel to Edmonton to meet him and or find these deals and opportunities. You can simply do it like we're doing today over Zoom, or have an opportunity to maybe even chat with him over the phone, email, what have you. So he's shared a couple, I thought, really good investment opportunities in Edmonton. And as you know, Kemba indicated, we have bought with Kevin out there. And so you're not just buying with Kevin as a realtor alone. Kevin's going to connect you to other experts, to others out there that can support you once you've invested in a property out there so that you can be successful. But definitely to bring these deals and opportunities is one of the primary things. You want to review them, look at them. This one here is, I thought was a really good one. It's currently fully rented. It's a triplex, so 3 townhomes with 2 units in each of them. And so total 6 units valued at $1.4 million. And so price per unit is phenomenal, $238,000 per unit. That's fantastic. We already established that $200,000 in the GTA is maybe not even a garage, right? But here in Edmonton, you can get a whole unit. And it's cash flowing. One of the great things that I love about Edmonton is that you can buy and enter in at really low values. Like the price point is much, much, much less than Ontario. And it also gives you the opportunity to cash flow. So this property here is cash flowing $739, which is excellent. And now you're invested, right? Now you have an asset that can continue to grow, can continue to be paid down by the rents from your tenants, that can also add to your legacy, right? What you're building, and the ROI on it is also very, very good. He's shown, when we look at numbers, we look at so many aspects of it so that you're not entering into real estate and potentially failing because maybe you bought an overpriced property that you can't generate enough income on to carry. So you definitely want to examine the numbers, and we can always share these numbers and help you understand, or you can reach out to Kevin and get a better understanding of whether this property and or the other one would be a good fit for you. So the second property is a house, a detached house that also gives you an opportunity to cash flow. Again, not something that you easily see in Ontario. So this cash flowing property, it's a 2-unit, price per unit is $312,000. You're able to cash flow $261 per month. And of course, cash flow can vary, right? I mean, if you take away, because I always think, we don't always have to have a property manager. I mean, when it's out way in Edmonton, far from home, you may want to have that, especially on a 6-unit, but maybe on the duplex or the 2-unit, you might decide not to have that property manager, and you just have an assistant, someone that pops in when the needs arise. And already in that example here, I think he's showing you that you would spend about $200 per month on property management. Well, if you don't have a property manager, you now add that to your cash flow, and now you're at $461 or $460. So there are different ways to manipulate the numbers to make it work and be more favorable to you. But what, as I said, I love about Edmonton are the 2 main things: is really great entry level price points that you can afford. So the down payment amounts, on a $1.4 million purchase, you're putting in under $300,000. That's phenomenal, right? If you have that kind of equity in your home, you can do that alone. If you don't have that type of equity in your home, you can partner with 2 or 3 others, each of you bringing in and bringing to the deal $100,000 to allow you to finance and purchase that property. In the example of the duplex, the detached home, you're bringing to the table 138,000. That may be more attainable for some of us who have, owned our home for 5-10 years, and we have plenty of equity to unlock and utilize. So great opportunities, great opportunity to cash flow and to buy at purchase points that are affordable for you as a single investor, or if you want to go it as a group as well. Kemba, I think I covered most of what I feel Edmonton brings to us. Yeah. I found that happens to me every time I get to that slide, like it pops us out of the presentation, right? And of course, while you're invested in these fantastic properties in Edmonton, remember there's that mortgage pay down. So you may not be getting that money every month, but just like you took equity from your home to utilize it, as the rents are paying down your mortgage, guess what? It's increasing your equity. And so over time, the equity in that home and in those properties will allow you, again, the opportunity to possibly unlock and realize that money to make an additional purchase. Because I'll tell you, Kemba and I didn't sit waiting year after year to save more money to buy our next property. We had to look for equity in our principal home, then equity in our rental properties to allow us to finance multiple deals. And it's time to introduce our next guest tonight. And Dion, you are here, right? I think she's here.
Yes, I'm here.
Awesome, awesome. Yes, so welcome, Dion, because Dion is also a realtor, and she works here in the GTA area, definitely in Ontario. And we definitely want to show you what's available in Ontario as well. So if you're planning to buy or sell a home, you want to definitely reach out to Dion. She has had a lot of success with her clients. If you're selling to her, success means that you want to get your property sold quickly and for the highest priced. Every owner wants the highest price. They even want the highest price even when the market has changed, right, Dion?
That's right. That's right.
They're still telling you that they want the prices from earlier this year.
Yeah.
And
doesn't work out
it's really
that
hard
way,
to help them understand the market's changed.
The market's changed. That's correct. That's correct.
But we're humans, and we're emotional, and we definitely can't let go of what we knew and what we were familiar with, and in such a short period of time as well. So she can help you make sure that you're satisfied no matter what the market conditions and or the situation is. Even when things start to change and move and shift,
Yeah.
she can help you, right, Dion?
You just have to come up with a plan. You might have to change the plans a little bit and tweak a few things, and you can get it done. So
yes.
Yeah.
And I think that it's really important. I've watched and I've seen Dion work with her clients, and it's really great to see that they connect. She understands who they are, what they need and what they want. And she makes sure she's not doing it for her. She definitely makes sure that she brings to the client what it is that they need to realize the goals for themselves. And so if you're looking for someone who will take the client's perspective, do what's right for them every time, definitely, working with Dion will help you do that. Tonight, we did ask you, Dion, to bring a couple deals that you could just share. And of course, Ontario is a very different climate. It's nothing like Alberta, nothing like the Edmonton area. What you get and is offered to you in Edmonton is very different than what's offered to you here in Ontario. So Dion, maybe are you ready to share these two
Yes.
deals? Okay.
Yes, I know.
And you may add to your bio if you want to add something else that maybe I didn't include.
Yeah, we can just quickly go through the two properties.
Okay.
We did a little bit of calculations earlier. The first one was 807 Robson. So these two properties are located in Kingston area. I found that they were both great rental incomes. The one on Robson, we're looking at the purchase price. It's listed for $649. The possible rental income you're looking at about $3,500 a month. Mortgage pay down, $3,178. So you would just subtract that amount from your monthly income, and you would also subtract the additional property taxes of $230 a month. And then there would be a maintenance fee of $175, and then the tenants take care of the utilities. So when we subtract that, it does show a negative of $83. But as you said before, Andrea, when we're looking at properties like this, this is not too far. It's not in Edmonton, so you can cut out if it's property maintenance or property management, you can cut out those fees, which will also help with the income on that property. And then I noticed here too, it has the five-year value. So in 5 years, you're looking at total value of $828,000, which is a great appreciation on that property. One of the great things about this property, I just have some notes here. Sorry. One of the great things about this property, when you're looking for an investment property, it's good if it already has a separate entrance. This property here, it is pretty much like a split level. So it does have the separate entrance. It has 3 bedrooms. It has 2 full baths. I don't know, I guess I can't show the pictures inside. The lot is a very large lot.
So Dion, what we ask of people is if these are of interest to you, then they can connect with you, and because these are still active listings, right?
Exactly.
And we're just trying to bring to you that, you know, they're there. You may not see them, or they may not come up when you're searching the internet, but these are options that Dion's sharing with you, and she'll happily give you more.
Share them. I can always share them with you. Yes. But we do come across a lot of properties like this, especially now. That houses have been sitting on the market a little bit longer. This current property has been on the market for about 13 days, but I've come across properties that have been up for 20 days right now, with interest rates going up. So now is a good time for buyers and investors to get into the market and possibly get that deal and get a house at a good price. So you're maximizing your potential income on the properties.
Excellent. I totally agree. You can actually make them go on sale the longer they sat on the market. Oh, you want
that's it.
49? I'll offer you 620.
Well, just a few months ago, the market was very different. Just looking at properties, 20 offers, and it was really ridiculous, and people were really overpaying for a lot of these houses. So now is the best time for investors to get in. First-time home buyers, even if people are living at home and they have access to the money, do something with it. Get it into an investment property. Partner up with friends or other people you may know that might be interested in getting in also. And that's great. That's where you guys come in, where you can coach them on how to find the properties, what to look for, and calculate to figure out if it makes sense. So yes, definitely. I know the one here on Old Colony, right beside it, calculating everything based on the monthly income and minus your monthly payments. It does have a plus of $159 a month. And then, which is great, right? A plus is great. And again, I know with your tips and ways to increase that, if there are areas where you can rent in the house, like the one on Robson, it does have a shed there, so you can rent out the shed. There's different ways to make that extra money. And I'm learning, I'm listening. So that's where you guys come in and figure out how they can maximize on their total profits per month.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
And someone made an excellent point in the comments. Thank you, Marietta. What about short-term rentals? And absolutely, when even out in Edmonton, when we want to improve our cash flow on our low purchase price, we turn it into short-term rentals, and we can improve the cash flow there. Here in Ontario, that is probably the best strategy to get cash flowing properties, is to turn one or both of those units into a short-term rental.
Mhm. I really love the style of the old Colony Roadhouse. It looks like it's almost like a fourplex, just it's convertible like today.
Yes.
That's what it looks like. I mean, we'd have to see if that's possible, but it just looks well set up for that.
Yes.
Well, looking at the pictures too, when I'm going through them, a lot of them, the kitchens have been updated, the flooring, so they don't need a lot of work. Maybe a few minor things here and there, but they are well maintained. They're pretty much move-in ready, which is great because you weren't finding these a few months ago.
That's
Mhm.
right. Yes, that's excellent. And those are good points. Sorry, Kemp, I'm going to just go back to that slide. Those were good points to make, Dion, because I think, you know, oftentimes when you're buying in Ontario and the purchase price and the entry price is so much higher, you don't want to have to spend any more money doing
Exactly.
work, right?
Mhm.
That's going to encroach on your return on your investment. And so we absolutely want to stay away from that. Also, back to some of the questions in the chat. Can you buy one of those units only? No, Donette, in that triplex, tri-unit thing that I showed you, they're selling it, that investor is selling it as a unit. And so they are, encouraging you to buy, it's like getting a 6-unit apartment building, but in 3 townhomes. The other question, I saw another question, the 6-unit may be a part of, yes. Sorry, Kemba did respond. Good. Yeah, so that sounds good. I don't know if we missed anyone else, but before we finish, we'll definitely, and we are only showing you active listings or active opportunities because we know that it could change by this week and next week. So we made sure that we went right to the moment to bring you the most current so that it's not something that's already sold. And we brought it could be, someone could have already been tying it up during this last hour, but it absolutely wasn't sold prior to the meeting tonight.
Mhm.
So yes, now on to one of our amazing success stories. And I know Rachel, you came on earlier. We are so thrilled to introduce Rachel, and I'm going to let Rachel take the stage and just sort of share her story. When we talk about, we started from Stacy getting equity to showing you Kevin and Dion's expertise. Like, we're now saying to you, you can do it. Rachel did. And she's going to explain to you sort of her story and how quickly it can happen, right? I think it was less than 3 months, but let's go. Rachel?
It was. I'm still like suffering from the whiplash. How quick it was. Hi, everyone. So I've had my principal property for this June was actually 11 years, so a little over 10 years. And noticed, that units around me were selling, and I hadn't really checked in terms of the current appreciation value or appraisal value of my home. And when I checked, I was shocked to know, what I could get if I sold. But what I did instead was I got a HELOC, but I didn't know what I was going to use it for at the time. And so it was just sitting there. And I've always had an interest in real estate and real estate investing, but I thought, I missed the mark. I was too old to get into it, but also I was fearful of what I didn't know. I didn't have the knowledge. And actually, I saw Dion post about building generational wealth for McKean Group. And I signed up for that webinar. And that's really when I got excited and thought, okay, maybe this is possible. Just being able to connect with my why. And although I don't have kids of my own, I do have little nieces and nephews, and being able to build a legacy to leave behind was something that was really important to me. But also I recognized in taking that course just how important community is, tapping into experts. I'm someone who's used to going it alone and trying to do it myself. And what I've learned through this process is to lean on the experts and trust the process, but always get connected to your big why. So whether it's Andrea, Kemba, Dion, or their vast network of experts, everyone played a hand in supporting me. And so I took that generational wealth program, what was it, February, March, and then signed up for the wealth building series. And it was around April. I think one of the homework assignments was, when you decide to do this, tell someone. And I told someone, and they happened to know someone else, and an opportunity, this house that you see here came up. And so that was end of April, beginning of May, and I closed on Friday, June 24th.
Yay, she deserves a round of applause. That's awesome.
And if I had not had that HELOCs already in place, when the opportunity came up, I would have been starting from scratch, and most likely would not have been able to secure the property. And so this is a duplex, 2 units, tenanted, and was able to use, put down 20% plus cover all my closing costs, using a portion of my HELOC. So not even using the whole thing, which leaves room for me for future investments. And it's in Kitchener. And so another great thing about the Keene programs is that you will learn about up and coming locations, and be able to know what research to do, to understand what makes a good purchase and what doesn't. And so whether it be around schools, understanding vacancy rates, it just powers knowledge. And just the information I was able to get from these programs really helped move this over the finish line. The other piece that helped me was the coaching. And so there are many times when Andrea had talked me off the ledge, and really helped me focus on why I was doing it, but also recognize that I didn't need to figure it out on my own. And so she has they all have great insider knowledge, and recognizing I didn't have to be the expert. And then in terms of calculations, just being able to understand what goes into the purchase, but also looking at long-term appreciation. And so for me, the real benefit of this purchase is around ROI. And that is based on a very conservative 2% that Andrea and Kemba, what's the word I'm looking for?
Well, that was part of what we encourage you to
recommended. Recommended. And when you look at the trends in Kitchener, the actual ROI is around, appreciation is around 6%. But what you see here is really conservative 2%. So.
Because everything else is icing on the cake after, right? If you keep it a little conservative, then you have room for market changes, interest rate changes, and so on.
Absolutely. Yes, so that is my story.
Yeah, and that's awesome, Rachel, because you confirmed even what Dion just said and what we know. So in Alberta, you're definitely buying at lower price points, getting cash flow. But here in Ontario, especially in the anything close to the GTA, you're definitely entering at higher price points. But the great thing is you're going to have huge appreciation, right? You may not get as much cash flow, or it may be negligible to negative sometimes, but you have this huge appreciation. And guess what? That appreciation just means more equity to then turn around, unlock, and again, as I said, reinvest and do more, whether it be reinvest in more real estate or a business or, retire.
Yes, and so having a HELOC already in place and in waiting essentially just allows you to move quickly when those opportunities come up. So,
and this was a private transaction too, right? For you, it was not something that was sitting on MLS. It was a private deal that came your way.
Yes, it was a private deal. And so when I showed up for the closing on Friday, and I was telling neighbors I purchased the house, and they didn't see a sign ever on the lawn, they were a bit in shock, especially, and there's actually a duplex across the street that is on sale. And so, yeah, it was a great opportunity I couldn't pass up.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Rachel, congratulations. You
Yes.
did it. You did it.
You did it.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Okay. Oh,
And along with that, sorry, Kemba, you go ahead. Just gonna see.
no, we were just going to share Tanya and Brian, who've done it as well. They bought out in,
My wife and I recently joined the Keen Real Estate Group's Secrets to Success program. Reason being, we want to purchase our first investment property and just didn't know where to start. So Kemba and Andrea have the expertise. We've been able to learn quite a bit from them, and we're on our way to purchasing our first investment property. We've got a pre-approval lined up, and through this program, we've been able to come up with some creative ideas, things that we wouldn't have even thought of on our own. For example, purchasing a real estate property outside of Ontario. That's something that it looks like we're actually going to do now and start building our portfolio. If you're interested in purchasing investment property, this is the way to go. You'll definitely get your return on investment with the Secrets to Success program.
and so we're happy to report he's bought 2 properties since that video.
Yes.
He's bought 2 properties, and they went out and the whiplash is funny. We get whiplash because it's like, you know, he sort of came back and he's like, I'm thinking about it. I've made some offers. They sort of said, oh, you know, the process was rough. We had to back out of it, an offer opportunity because there were structural issues, and they sort of got discouraged, and we sort of talked them through that discouragement. And before we knew it, they purchased one. And then within what, 2 or 3 months, they came back.
Another.
Oh, we just put an offer on another one. It's like,
And they were sending us deals. What do you think about this for you? You know?
so
Yes.
it's quite exciting to see people, you know, take the knowledge and actually, you know, jump out there and get it going. So
And again, in line with what we've said, out of province, the purchase price are much lower. So that's New Brunswick for Tanya and Brian, and they are cash flowing big. So really low, you know, they were $200,000 purchases, giving them each $1,000 in cash flow. So if, you know, we don't know what fits your needs. We don't know what type of equity situation you have. Stacey can help you with that. You know, Dion and or Kevin can help you with the purchases, but I know that there's a solution out there for you. And Kemba, we have one more you can share.
oh, okay.
I took the Secrets to Success in Real Estate course through Keen Real Estate Group because my husband and I are thinking of purchasing our first investment property. They taught us how to analyze properties, various ways we can fund our investment, and also how to pick great tenants. I would definitely recommend this course to anyone who's not only looking for investment properties, but also looking for their own personal property.
Mm-hmm.
And so to wrap up with Andrea, which she's got a pretty cool name. I love her name. Andrea and Chris have also done something unique, and you can do this as well. They have turned their existing home into their rental property, and they're moving on to an upgraded home for themselves, and they're keeping it all within the Durham region. So there's so many ways and solutions using your equity and doing what fits your family's needs. So just reach out to us. We will help you figure it out.
That's a very, very good point. You know, you can look out and see what other people have done. You can take bits and pieces and, you know, get that knowledge and learn, but you don't have to do it the same way everybody else has done it. Your way will be related to your own why, to, you know, your own situation, your own financing. And if you just keep, you know, diving into that, you know, Rachel mentioned it multiple times. She sort of figured out, why am I doing this? And it helped to give her that strength and that, you know, motivation to say, oh, I'm going to go through with it. She had some, you know, sketchy times where there was nerves and it's nerve-wracking, or it's, you know, but she pushed through because she knew why she was doing it. So there's lots of things we sort of get together for you to help you understand and help you move forward. So think about it.
So like Kemba and I, we've always looked to coaching to help us build not just our real estate portfolio, but our business, our knowledge. I would think that any successful individual out there, whether they are an athlete or an entertainer or a business owner, they've used some level of coaching to get them to where they are now achieving the success that they want. And we know that with coaching, you too can reach your goals, reach your dreams, and build that legacy if that's part of what your why is.
Mm-hmm. And the Secrets to Success course is coming up in September. So there's lots of lead time. You know, think about it, clear your schedule, pick one of the dates. We have the September session, we have a November session as well. Consider it, make your plans for, you know, later in the year, make your plans for next year, look at what opportunities are out there, but definitely this is a prep for you to be ready to move to the next step. So we'll share that link with you after the session, and get ready.
Yeah, we're giving you the summer off, unless it's essential that you get started right now, which we will absolutely give you time, because you can always do one-on-one coaching. But the summer off, because you know what, we're so limited in time where we can have outdoor experiences and enjoy the weather, travel, spend time with family, and then come right back to, you know, September, where you can just, you know, sort of, maybe during the summer you're meeting with Stacy and getting all your paperwork and your HELOC or your refi in place, and by the time you turn around and all of that has been worked out, it's time to get registered and get started in our course.
I can picture it.
Yes. So I love this part of it. It's gift giving time. So let's see if you were listening and paying attention. Did we miss any questions? What program is Rachel referring to? Oh, so Rachel was referring to, as you can see, Kemba typed it in there, the wealth building series. So following our generational wealth, we had a 6 weeks program that she was able to buy into. And that's where she began to have, because I think initially when I met Rachel, she was thinking, oh, this is something I'm going to do later. And as she joined the wealth building series, opportunities just sort of started flowing and things just started happening. And as we said, less than 3 months time, she had it all completed. So now it's time to see if you remember, and if you were listening to Stacy, the question is, could you, and type in, and it's the first person that types in the answer and response, we will gift to you one course giveaway for the Secrets to Success. And you can obviously choose whether you want the September or the November version, depending on your schedule. But the question is, name one of the 2 ways that Stacy spoke of to unlock the equity in your home.
Oh, we're getting chat refinance.
I saw, is it Nisha?
Ebby, oh, Nisha. Yeah.
Nisha.
We'll give you a pass for the spelling, but
Thank
we
you. Sorry.
Yeah,
That's okay. She was fast.
she was fast.
I was holding the baby.
You get a pass for that one.
Okay, yes, because it's still, we get it. We understand. So that's excellent. That's one of our giveaways, Kemba, and we're still on track to finish a little early. So our second giveaway. Awesome, Nisha. We also have a shop that we provide a variety of items that help you in your real estate portfolio. Either you're buying it to stock for your Airbnb, or you're trying to pull on some of the knowledge and resources that we have in there. And so we're giving one $25 off on the spending at Shop Keen. And so our second question and our second giveaway, Kemba, do you have a question that you would like to ask of?
Oh gosh.
Make it easy.
Make it easy. What was the appreciation in Kingston that we used? Or that Dion was referring to in her presentation?
So I see 5% for Kristen.
Oh, is it Kristen?
Kristen, yes, Kristen.
Nice, Kristen, you quick on the draw there. Awesome. So Kristen, we'll get in touch with you after you want a great opportunity to stock your next Airbnb. You know, you have to plan ahead.
Yes, it could be the Airbnb out in Alberta there in Edmonton area, or it could be
Maybe
something.
Barbados.
Sorry, Barb, what did you say?
Maybe Barbados. Maybe
Barbados. Oh, I want to go. You make sure that when you list that you share that with us so that I can utilize it when I'm in Barbados. That's awesome.
So guys, if you're looking to reach out, we'd be happy to share any of the opportunities here, connect you with Dion, connect you with Stacy,
Kevin
out in Edmonton, for you to find an opportunity that works for you.
And we help you not just with those salient experts. We have down to the lawyer that we can help direct you to, so that you don't have to think about who are the experts that you'll need. We can help guide you, property managers, accountants, and the like.
Yeah, but definitely, as you saw in Rachel's example, get ready.
Starts with Stacy.
Get ready.
It's better if you're ready and prepped and you have the stuff in place, because then all the other noise, because there's going to be a lot of noise as you're going through it, as you heard from Rachel, there is. But don't let the financing piece or the capital, having the resources that you need, be the challenge.
Yep. And literally, I know some people may feel that, you know, oh, well, I think I won't get approved for X amount, or I won't be able to. You won't know until you know. So you need to go out there and try.
And remember Stacey's quote, okay? You need to risk and try. You cannot leave it to, you know, the unknown or chance or the future.
Okay, guys. So if we have any other questions, we have a little more time on the agenda. And if you have questions that you didn't get answered, we can take those in the chat. Otherwise, we'd love to wish you all a wonderful Tuesday night.
Yeah, I don't see any other questions right now, but thank you all for joining us. We truly appreciate that you took the time to come and learn and invest in you. And likely indirectly your family, right? That you definitely want to be able to help improve what you learn here to help improve their lives. So thank you very much.
Can I just say something really quick, Andrea?
Sure, yes, Stacy.
Somebody did ask me in the chat, am I able to finance out of Ontario properties? And just to let you know, I can. So if you are looking for financing on, you know, those amazing Edmonton properties, if you so choose, let me know. And yeah, we can definitely take a look at that. But it is so important to be prepared. So if you are going to take time, like if you're saying, you know what, I'm really not going to do this until, you know, next year. Well, in that 6 months lead up time, let's take the time to plan and make sure everything's in place so that you can hop on in 6 months and you're ready to go. You've now taken the Secrets to Success course in September or November. You got your financing in place. Like the world is like your oyster after that, right? Because you've planned, you've gotten your coaching as you go along. It is, and you know, getting the coaching from Andrea and Kimba is truly such a key to success. These two ladies are so phenomenal. So yeah, just take that time and be prepared. And thank you so much, Kimba and Andrea, for having me on today.
Yeah, no, we thank you, Rachel and Dion. And I know Kevin couldn't be here tonight with us, but he will be in the future. We thank you all for sharing your knowledge, you know, championing our business system and constantly supporting us as well. We truly appreciate it.
Okay, guys. Let's see the gallery who we still have on.
I saw another Andrea on here too, so thank you for joining, Andrea. There's a few Andreas. Andrea is actually a common name.
It is very. Now I have like 25 Andreas in my phone book.
Yes, Andrea is a common name.
Well, as you guys are dropping off, we'd love to hear from you. Michael, how'd the session go for you?
Yeah, and if we didn't speak to you tonight, or you still need to speak to us.
Sorry about that. I got a little.
Oh, is that Michael joining us?
I understand, Michael. You're quiet.
Yeah, but all right. So, wifey said something. But no, it was a good session. A lot of basics, a lot of principles, and you know, you can get the basics down. You can get I would say the overall spectrum of what's getting done here. I love the the thing that really did it for me, and the thing that I wish I was explained several years in the past was just the longevity of this. You know, buying a property is going to be there when I'm dead, right? And it's going to be increasing with price just because of inflation, just because of different economic factors as well. So when you put that as a principle, it just makes a lot more sense. And so I appreciate the charts. I appreciate just the general levels of explanation, especially revolving around that first point. So much appreciated. Thank you all.
Awesome. Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, guys. Well, have a wonderful Tuesday night. We will see you guys for the next session. Hopefully, we're going to send you invites. You know, you'll see it in your inbox.
Yeah. Remember, for any of those investment opportunities or others, reach out and we can connect you to the experts that were here tonight. Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night. Bye, Rachel.
Oh, we should have said a big thank you to our guests. They were amazing.
I did.
Oh, okay.
I did say thank you to them, including Kevin, who wasn't here.
Including
And plus, Evan, I think in Kevin's time, it's like, you know, I think he was still doing business somewhere at the time.
Okay. I think that's Paulette.
Oh, is it? The 853?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe. Paulette, were you here with us tonight? Hey, Paulette? Yeah, I don't know, because maybe she's on her phone with it.
Yeah.
Mhm.